Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to all of the wonderful listeners of 91.3 FM, to those tuning in on our Facebook and YouTube platforms. Salam to you as well. You can see me there. I got a haircut. I hope you enjoy. This is, of course, the Daily Grind. My name is Daanyaal Matthews. This is a place to speak about business, passion, and every single thing in between. And if you are on the live stream, you can probably see the wonderful lady here on my left, and you're right, that is none other than Ghadijah Hussein. Now, Ghadijah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you doing?
Alhamdulillah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Are you doing fantastic?
Absolutely fantastic. And shukr for having me here, Voice of the Cape. I really appreciate it.
It's never a problem, never a problem. Ghadijah, usually I like to let the guest explain exactly what business they are in. Can you explain for the wonderful listeners?
Yes, alhamdulillah, shukr. So I'm Ghadijah Hussein, born and bred in Cape Town. Started being an entrepreneur in the marketing sector. I've worked for 25 years in the corporate and investment banking industry as a marketing events project manager.
Wow. Wait, so how many years is that now?
25 years.
25 years. Wow, that is quite a lengthy career, eh?
Yeah.
And currently you operate as?
A marketing agency as an entrepreneur.
Yes.
Correct.
So I want to get a little bit in, we want to discover something here. What specifically about marketing got you into the industry?
So, first and foremost, marketing is so broad. You know, there is so many elements around marketing. So, the eventing part of marketing was really the one that stood out for me, and being passionate about the planning part and also interacting with your clients and interacting with the team, and the creativity around that really stood out for me. Yes, and of course I made a career out of it, purely because there was lots of enjoyment doing it, and I've grown from, you know, the eventing side, grown into more of a broader marketing platform that has driven me to where I'm at today.
Okay. So when you first began, how was that for you, starting off immediately in the industry? But I'm also curious as to, you are currently a part of, I believe it's SG Event Management.
Correct.
You are the founder of that establishment.
Correct.
So I'm curious here. So before you established this organization, were you simply working for other individuals in other companies?
Correct. So my journey started in 2017 after I've decided, you know, it's time just to broaden my knowledge around the marketing aspect of my career, and interacting with the opportunity more so to interact with different clients and different businesses. Allowed me to even grow further from a career perspective. So from there onwards, you know, I thought it was time for me to retire. But having said that, I didn't allow that to happen because I was still full of energy, and I wanted to share my knowledge and experience with like-minded entrepreneurs. I think that stood out for me more than sharing my experiences with like-minded people in the industry. And it was the know-how to do it and opportunity to do that, you know. And as the conversation will go on further, it speaks about partnership and collaboration, and where from there. You know, how do you tap onto a market as opposed to just focusing on onboarding clients and wanting to grow your business? My one of the passions was always to look around me and identifying some other talents around me to take them with me on this journey. To take them to to the business world that I came from. You know, and it's allowed me to do that. And I think there is still a big gap in the market for entrepreneurs to grow. And it's to provide them with that kind of mentorship or just be there, you know, take them with this journey.
Playing the role of like a mentorship role.
Absolutely.
I'm curious now, because doing the math here, 25 years would take you way before the introduction of the World Wide Web and the internet, and that would also be before the dot-com boom. So I'm a little bit curious here, because 25 years as a marketer would mean that you'd have to have adapted to all of the changes, especially the introduction of the World Wide Web, correct?
Absolutely. And what an overwhelming time, and the shift in how to do business is so broad. It happened in a space where I was kind of just out of the corporate environment into the new way of doing business, going digital, going, you know, that was overwhelming. And we quickly had to recollect our way of doing business, and our process thoughts had to be aligned with how we do business in the 2020s, basically.
Now that is very, very interesting to me. Primarily because existing in the business, in the marketing business for 25 years would have meant that you'd have to, as I said before, adapted to the first introduction of the World Wide Web, which when it was static and all that. You'd also have to have adapted to the emergence of e-commerce. You'd also have to have adapted to the social media marketplace. And I'm just curious, all of that adapting, how did you successfully move on to these platforms, adapt to them, and and market them successfully, your businesses successfully on them?
You know, very interesting point, and shukr for asking. The reluctance of becoming so visible in the social media space, that was for me the greatest, a little bit of a fear factor, because it's how you present yourself there and how you show up on social media, whereas a younger entrepreneur is comfortable on that platform. There was that kind of reluctance. How do I do it? So I started off by engaging in that platform. But it took a while for me to adapt. And because of the nature of who I am, my personality was, I can do this. I'm not yet there at 150% level, but I will get there. There is still room for me, for us. There is a small team around me to grow, and that is the opportunity that we keep going for. Is we thought that we have all this experience and knowledge, but this is a complete different world, and how do we adapt? But we're slowly getting there.
Getting there. And with that, we will get to more of the conversation after we pay the bills, after the commercial news. So for more of the Daily Grind, stay tuned.
Heavy rains and flash floods have taken the lives of 1,000 people in Pakistan. Large parts of the country remain submerged, and families are in urgent need of food, clean water and medical care. Muslim Hands teams are on the ground delivering life-saving aid to victims. Donate today at muslimhands.org.za and help families survive and rebuild their lives.
When you think tasty, Salih Barbecue. When you think quality, Salih Barbecue. When you consider variety, Salih Barbecue. Yes, Salih Barbecue tonight has you covered in Cape Town with branches in Lansdowne, Rylands, Woodstock and Grassy Park. It's Braai Month and you can get some amazing grills at Salih Barbecue. Full chicken, large chips and 4 rolls now only 150 Rand. Or get our amazing Braai family pack consisting of 3/4 chickens, 2 sausages, 2 T-bone steaks, 2 loin chops, 6 cubes of chicken, 4 tandoori naan and a large chips for only 300 Rand. Available now at all Salih Barbecue stores. Visit www.salihbarbecuetonight.co.za for a full menu, current specials and delivery options in your area. Or phone us on 021 696 3392.
Kap op die kar se deel my broer.
Is oep.
Dis my kar! My kar is gesteel!
Jy!
O, jette! Wat kan ek nou vir Mohammed sê?
No worries. At House of Rad, we fit tracking devices for all vehicles, motorbikes, boats, monitoring your vehicle on your cell phone, live viewing online for only 99 Rand per month.
Ja, die mense wou se kry.
My broer. House of Rad, opposite Athlone Stadium. Call us on 021 637 9024.
Your one-stop car security and sound shop.
MSA Tiling and Projects, over 32 years of experience investing a great deal of thought and planning in every project. Now that's more than just tiling. The next time you think of tiling or renovation, think MSA Tiling and Projects. Contact us for a free quotation. Email us admin@msatilingandprojects.co.za. Call Chiru Abrams on 021 699 8027. MSA Tiling and Projects. We're passionate about our craft.
Live from Cape Town, this is the Voice of the Cape. The Voice of the Cape. The Voice of the Cape.
The Daily Grind. Boosting your business savvy.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. As the jingle says, it is the Daily Grind, and we are back with Ghadijah Hussein. Before the break, we were just talking about Ghadijah's experience traversing the various mediums that she has now had to adapt to in the marketing sphere. She started 25 years ago, and as I mentioned before, in 25 years, you would have had to have adapted to Web 1.0, you'd have to have adapted to e-commerce, to social media, all of these different streams. And I'm more curious here, let's start off in the beginning, when you first did events marketing and now the introduction of the World Wide Web. I wanted to just know from your perspective, what was your mentality engaging in these various platforms, but also your methodology in trying to understand them and adapt to make it a success in your marketing enterprise?
Yeah, shukr so much for the question. So once again, talking about years of experience and coming into the new era of how to do business differently and to adapt. Yes, of course, it's overwhelming. It was. I was reluctant to it because we all, we are real. And it was, where do I start as an entrepreneur? And I thought, the only way to master the art is by ask and by learn and where from there. And I started looking around me and reaching out to those much younger than what I am. And I've learned so much from them, to onboard them, to take me to the level where it should be. And I was very keen to know more. And the more they explained to me, this is how we do business, you can grow your business so much more in the social media space. And I said, but I'm reluctant to expose myself in terms of how we do business. So you put it out there to the world, basically, to have a look at it. And what was the biggest fear for me? And so everyone see what you do and how you execute and how you deliver. It's all about, the standard you're delivering. I wasn't comfortable letting people see what I was doing. Today, you have to do that. I saw differently from where I came from, how they do business. You put it out there, let people see you, celebrate your achievements by engaging with people on the social media platform. And I think we're still learning. I look at the business when I came out of the corporate world, it's still pretty much in the developing stages, where we're looking at rebuilding the brand, shifting the whole business model, not just focusing on event execution, but more bringing other marketing elements and other marketing solutions to the platform. So that's part of growth, isn't it? That's part of how I still wanting to learn and empower the team around me by an outsourcing team. And with that said, is the outsourcing team is really the energized new vibrant talents that comes through that we learn from, and it's vice versa how we collaborate on that platforms now. So soon we'll be out more in the social media space with our redesigns, and also our offerings will be a little bit different.
Okay, I'm a little bit curious here, mainly from the perspective of how you adapt to these various mediums. Primarily because I'm curious as to the reality, since you are a marketing agent, you obviously work on behalf of a client, and in the events field, the event has to be, of course, planned to their specifications and how they want to market their brand. And I'm curious as to the reality of how you would convince clients to enter into these new ventures, these new mediums that you've heard so wonderful about, and you yourself are a little bit skeptical of because you're not too knowledgeable about them. I wanted to know how you adapt in that situation where you recognize, listen, my client doesn't really have a big social media focus, but he needs it because he has to promote himself. How do you convince him to do that? But also, how do you work with clients and push through your creativity to ensure that, as this event is yours, but there's a little bit of myself here that I've added?
Correct. Again, I think the approach of clients coming through is, I think, alhamdulillah, we've been very blessed. I hate talking about because I've developed a small team around me. So we've basically grown with word of mouth. Word of mouth purely came from the years of experience that I've been in the industry. And it just, for me, became so much easier to engage with clients, to talk about the new way of doing business from a social media perspective, from a marketing tool, a different digital way of doing. But purely saying, people are still sending out invitations, they're still wanting to do a aid memoir or I'm sorry, I can't seem to get to the other word as an aid memoir, as a reminder of the event.
Yes, yes.
They do it still in the old format way. There is so much more ways of doing it by going the digi way. And I've adapted to do that. And that is my creativity around that they're starting to trust us with. And we basically saying to just small shifts, small steps in how we used to do eventing 10 years ago, and now it's completely different. But hence the fact doing an event is important to understand why we're doing the event, the objective around it, and kind of put a whole marketing plan together for the client is so important before we get to the event. So there's other strategies that we put in place. And then the last element to it, or the end of the conversation, is how do we spend the money now in terms of client appreciation? So that for me is so key to understand when you take on that brief or the project, is to take the conversation back to the beginning as to ask the question why and how and the reason behind it. And then, of course, talk about the new way of doing business, the new way of doing the eventing, and all about eventing, talk about it, which I did years ago, and not so long ago, I think 5 years ago, it's still, and I'm currently still busy with pipeline projects, is to talk about how to do it. And we have the opportunity now to shift it because, because of my experience, it will still be executed at the client level or how they want the event to be executed, but it's more importantly the build-up of it, the planning of it, the creativity around it, the theme of the event. There's so much more than just the event. It's not just the party and put the centerpieces in the middle. I keep saying it's not just about that. And focusing on objectives and knowledge sharing.
It's funny you say that because usually when people that are unexperienced with event planning, that's usually the first thing they talk about, the decor, how it's going to look, how's the table going to look, what food are we going to have, what's the centerpiece going to be. That's usually the talk you hear.
The FYI on that, please, that's the loss of the budget. Because trust me, there is more importance than just the centerpiece to that. Because, it's important to understand the objective of the actual project or the event. It's shifted from events. It can be anything as a project, even activations. It can be anything.
Interesting events, experience, and all of that. But we're going to dive more into that because, again, we have to pay the bills. It's how we stay on air. Some of the Daily Grind. Stay tuned after the break.
Do you have comorbidities or any infections? South Africa's first oxygen in a capsule, Mega Oxygen, has been scientifically proven to add more oxygen to your body. Mega Oxygen boosts your immune system and gives you a fighting chance at getting healthier faster. Choose your health. Choose Mega Oxygen. Call 021 557 0446 or visit oxygenproducts.co.za. Mega Oxygen, available at independent pharmacies and health stores. Oxygen Products, nature's source of healing.
Whoever fasts Ashura, it is as if he has fasted the entire year. And whoever gives charity this day, it is like the charity of an entire year. Donate from only 500 Rand this month of Muharram to any of our campaigns and reap the rewards. Visit our website at www.pennyappeal.org.za to do a quick and easy donation, or visit the site for more information on our Thirst Relief, Orphan Kind, Hifts Orphan, Feed Our World and the Mosque Project. Penny Appeal. Small change, big difference.
If you ever find yourself in a situation that requires legal advice, Sali & Sali Attorneys is the firm you need on your side. We assist you in matters of property transfers, bond registration, or winding up a deceased estate and more. We work closely with you, providing efficient, professional, and excellent service, resolving even the most challenging case with a smile, making you rest assured that everything is being taken care of. Contact Sali & Sali Attorneys now on 021 697 2093. Sali & Sali Attorneys, where trust is everything.
Live from Cape Town, this is the Voice of the Cape. The Voice of the Cape. The Voice of the Cape.
The Daily Grind. Boosting your business savvy.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's Daanyaal Matthews here on this side of the mic, and this is, of course, the Daily Grind. Before the break, we're talking to Ghadijah Hussein. She was telling us, and pleading with us, telling us that, of course, the centerpiece is not what you should be focusing on, ladies and gentlemen. That is the final part of the project. That's the last thing you should consider. Am I correct, Ghadijah?
Absolutely correct. There is more to event planning or project planning than understanding the real scope of work is more important, and once you understand that, you basically set the tone for client expectation and let the client know where you're going to spend their money. It's very important because you don't want to just spend it on decor and not on other elements that is more important to their business, because key to that is the purpose of having an event is also the strategy of building the client's brand and give them the exposure with that event on social media. And that makes them also very excited about the fact that it can be a live event.
Yes.
So that is how we have adapted to doing events differently. You can be at the event and we can make it a live event. And at first, there was reluctance to do it because there's other challenges that comes into play. Is the brand correctly positioned? Because it will be live, it will be in the public air. So that as a project manager you need to basically check your due diligence with any client or marketing division, whether that is or has been approved for the live streaming of an event. So eventing is just not as tick the boxes. There's more to it before you execute.
Okay, that's enlightening. I think I'm going to scratch off on my to-do list a wedding planner. I thought that was going to be my career path. But after hearing all of this, I think I'm just going to stick to my lane, speaking on radio. But Ghadijah, one very interesting thing that I've noticed in all of your answers is the focus that you place on both sharing of knowledge, but also collaboration. You've utilized that word continuously, even you utilized it in the beginning when you were talking about the team that you get behind you, the vibrant youngsters that you get on and that you teach, but you also learn from them. As you said, you are still learning. And that's absolutely wonderful mentality, especially combined with the mentality you mentioned earlier of your personality convincing you that you can do it. And I'm a little bit curious here, since you've worked with so many clients, I'm a little bit curious on the mindset that you often at times see that is almost the crux of a business succeeding or going further beyond. And I'm curious as to what you've learned interacting with various clients about that.
Yes, shukr for that question. I think, again, important is to just have in mind about the client is wanting to grow their business by way of what? Obviously, spending money and also looking at their return of investment. And by way of doing that or saying that, return of investment would be if they do need an event or need a project to run, be it an activation, be it a client appreciation event, they would look at the value add. It's so important to understand the objective of why they wanted that event. And by way of that, they could grow the client base in the manner of, are they inviting the correct clients to the event? So our role as marketers becomes so critical in the process when we plan that we almost need to be aligned with the client's expectations around, are we inviting the correct clients to that, is very key to any event. Talking about the collaboration and the partnership in the entrepreneurship role, I'm not too sure whether you want me just to...
I'm more interested in the perspective on the collaboration, because you've mentioned it both from the entrepreneurship perspective, but also as it assists you as a marketing agent to better your events through the creativity of a team.
Fantastic. Great stuff. Shukr for that. So when we take on a project, depending on the client's needs, so we'd like to think that we can reach out to like-minded entrepreneurs within the community, within the Western Cape, as opposed to just reach out to our counterparts in Johannesburg or, anywhere but in the Western Cape. And I believe we have so many talent in the Western Cape amongst women, amongst anyone who's a marketer. And we're looking for, web designers, to come up with a different idea. We're always looking for who can we reach out to, a videographer, a photographer, and with different offerings, and that is where I believe how entrepreneurs can partner and collaborate with each other, and they become part of a team, a project team, as opposed to all managed by the SG marketing managing team, but yet it's their skills that will come through. And of course, there will always be acknowledgement around their services and their skills. And that for me is also sharing of experiences and learnings happens there, because I've done one or two projects whereby I've reached out to those and I found people in Paarl, I found people in Kraaifontein with such amazing talent that I almost wanted to say, just come on board, help me to help you. And that is my saying and belief that we should partner in the small businesses, in the SMME space, and collectively present that to our clients.
That's very interesting there, mainly because of, again, your focus on collaboration, but also your focus on talent within the community. That's absolutely wonderful, because we all know in our communities there are very talented people, but often at times it almost seems as if though lots of companies are going outside of the community to find talent that is already here. And it's a little bit bewildering because it doesn't make necessary sense. Why not get somebody from around the corner that can do an amazing job? You see they work all the time, but a lot of the time they go for those high profile individuals that sometimes that have more baggage, way harder to work with, and don't necessarily want that opportunity. I find that absolutely amazing that you've recognized that. But what's even more amazing is your self-awareness, because ever since you've come on and I've talked to you about you beginning and also how you adapted to various things, you're incredibly self-aware about your strengths and your weaknesses, which I find absolutely amazing. I love it when guests come on and they can tell me, I'm not that good at this thing, I'm not that good at that thing, but I'm trying to improve. Absolutely. And that mentality is absolutely wonderful. Have you always had that mentality of, I'm just going to stick through it, I'm going to believe in myself and go forward? I'm just a little bit curious on more so when the times get rough, when things don't really go too well, because a lot of the listeners are probably in that state of mind right now where they are in the doldrums, they are thinking that everything's going wrong. And I'm just curious, since you've probably experienced that in your 25 years of being in the industry, and I wanted to know how you overcame that kind of mental adversity to push through.
Yeah. My approach in life was, I'm not perfect, and mistakes will always happen. Projects are huge, but I was always ready to learn from it and pick myself up by saying, I can do it. And how did I do it if I don't know how to do it? Like everyone else say, Google it. And make it happen. So my whole approach in life was always, I can make it happen. I'm a can-do person, but I don't expect everyone else around me to have that approach, because, everyone is shaped differently.
Yes.
And their DNA is different from mine. It's the energy being positive. But when you're in the middle of a situation, and you need to open the doors, and you cannot open the door because the AB is not set up. You need to do A, B, and C. How are you going to manage it? And a client is walking in with their clients. Yes. What are you going to do? You make it happen. And how you make it happen, don't ask me, but you just make it happen. And that again is perseverance. You almost adapt to a reaching out to people. And I don't believe that any project assigned to you can be done solely alone. You need people. I need people around me all the time, and the community. Although I operate very in a space where I project manage, but I need people around me, whether I outsource those skilled people, the talented people. All I can say to them, stop hiding and step up to your game and come out. And if you don't know, ask. Knock on doors. There is so many great opportunities and great people out there who is happy to just put their arms around you. And trust me, there's people who are still doing it for me, because of I am wanting to share my experiences and knowledge, and I want the community to know that whatever they do out there, take it to business. Don't be afraid. If they say no, don't accept it. Why no? Have that approach and just keep going. Don't give up for 1 minute and just say, but they said no because I can't do A, B, and C. Because we are in a very challenging space and era and year post-COVID, but don't let it stop you to grow or to get to know what you don't know.
Ghadijah, I'm a little bit curious here on some other thing. Now we've discussed, I want to know something, I want to pick your brain here, because this is a question that is often posed on the WhatsApp chat. Whenever I get a marketing person on it, they haven't sent it through yet, but I guarantee they'll send it through before the end of the show or the end of the day. And the question usually pertains to businesses that are just starting, or an entrepreneur that hasn't started yet, but is afraid of starting. And then the question becomes, how do they get themselves out there? They have no connections, they have no networks. They only have their friends and family, which they can also use, of course. But how do they get themselves out there and build their brand from the beginning? I'm curious from your perspective, working 25 years in the industry.
So for me, I would say, and some might agree and some might disagree. So it talks about the word that comes to mind, just to have a watertight business plan. And we tend to not put that in place. I think that's key to any entrepreneur, be it if you're at the age of 20 or at any age, but just take a pen and start writing and match that business plan to your passion. Because I believe if you put that passion into it, trust me, it will happen. How it happens, you just need to close your eyes and say, Ya Rab, to your creator, this is what I wrote down today. How is this going to happen for me tomorrow? Show me the way. I also say that every day. Take my hand and guide me on this journey. Just wrote down 2 pages. I don't know where the money is coming from. I have no money. What is it I'm going to? Because we all want to start a business, making it cupcakes, be it being a project manager, be it any entrepreneurship. We all say, I don't have money to do it. But trust me, the knowledge that you have acquired and your skills doesn't need money. For me, it's about make it happen, and how you make it happen. Knock on doors and just say, I can make it happen in a way of tapping onto a network. You all socializing. This one knows that one. Don't be afraid to open doors for the person next to you.
Those are very powerful words. I felt almost the passion coming through. No, it's wonderful to see. But now, Ghadijah, you know, in actual fact, we are actually running out of time. We haven't, I'm sure we could speak here for another hour with just sharing your knowledge. And usually at this point, I would ask a business that has come on board. I would ask them how long they started, and then I would ask them where do they see themselves in the same length of time. But with you, it's a little bit more different, because I can tell with you, your passion is now, of course, sharing your knowledge, as you mentioned in the beginning, mentorship. But I can also tell that you're still ambitious. The ambition hasn't left you yet. And I'm curious, let's say since your business started at, say, 2017, and that, what is the math? That's 5 years ago. I want to know, what do you hope to achieve in the next 5 years?
Yeah, shukr for the question. I think is to become one of the top 10 eventing company in the Western Cape.
Wow.
And I'm working on it. And it's definitely not about the centerpieces. There's a complete different dialogue that's about to start. And that is where I'm tapping on to.
I love how you keep bringing in, it's not about this. I feel like you've said this so many times and you just want to get it through to people now.
Yeah, because people look at me and just say, what about the decor? I said, no, that's the last of the budget. That is last on the list. That's the least I worry about. That happens a day before your event.
Yes.
Because I'm still not understanding what is your theme, what message are you wanting to say to your clients attending the event.
Yes.
And that centerpiece need to become a conversational piece, not just the flowers. So that is hence the fact that I talk about the centerpieces there.
I love your passion. I love how you delivered that, babe.
I'm just being me.
If you're watching the live stream, you probably caught the facial expressions there.
God.
I loved it. It's always like how people that are experienced in the field, they come on and they always come on and if you watch interviews with them on YouTube and all that, and the chef will talk about this, that, and the other, and it's someone will ask them a really basic question about, say, onions or this kind of thing, and they will be like, no. And you could just tell they're just sick and tired of having the same conversation. And I'm just imagining in your 25 years working with clients, how many times you've had to tell them the decor is lost.
The last of the budget. And I can actually save you lots of money if you just trim down on the decor as well. So.
Ghadijah,
Yes.
we are at the end. It's unfortunate. It's greatly unfortunate because I've loved having this conversation with you. I've learned a lot, not only about the marketing world, but also that it's not the centerpieces that are important. That has really helped me. But also scraps my dreams of becoming a wedding planner after everything you mentioned there. I mean, the theme, the message you're trying to get across, that's too big brain for me. I'm going to stick here, do the interviews with knowledgeable people like you, and have you share your knowledge. But Ghadijah, shukran so much for coming on board, for sharing your knowledge, for taking the time out of your day to be here in person and share everything that you have. It's been absolutely wonderful.
I think I need to say shukr to you, to the Voice of the Cape, for having us here, for having me here as SGE Marketing Management Team, and for giving us the opportunity to be on air. And yeah, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate the time spent with you.
Ghadijah, one last thing. If one of the listeners, say for instance, has this massive event plan and they want to get in contact with you and listen to your knowledge on how the decor isn't supposed to be the most important thing, how could they get in contact with you?
Absolutely. They're more than welcome to contact me on 083 455 185. Alternatively, they can email me on khadijah@sgmarketing.co.za.
At sgmarketing.co.za. If you didn't quite catch that, I have put it in the Facebook chat, Marv. I was just typing there, and you can catch it there if you want to email Ghadijah. Ghadijah, once again, shukran for coming on board.
Afwan.
Always a pleasure. I hope we can have you again sometime in the future because this conversation has been absolutely delightful. To all of the wonderful listeners, those tuning in on 91.3 FM studios or the Voice of the Cape app, I say assalamu alaikum to you as well. To those watching on the live stream, I say to you too, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. That is the Daily Grind for this week. Stay tuned to next week for some more.
The Voice of the Cape Festival is back.